Again the Philistines have come to fight against Israel. Do you see their camp? When King Saul sees all these enemies, he gets so scared. What can he do? King Saul asks the Lord, but God doesn't answer him. Not through anything, not through any prophet. And the prophet Samuel doesn't live any longer. Yes, it is possible when you pray that the Lord doesn't want to listen to you. When you continue to live a sinful life and you don't confess your sins, the Lord can keep himself quiet. Then Saul says to his attendants, "Find me a woman who can consult the spirit for me." "Oh, that is terrible! That is forbidden by the Lord. A spirit cannot help you. Spirits can only make you afraid." That's why the Lord has said, never be involved with such people. Never be involved with spirits. I don't want you to live a life in bondage. I want to give you a free life, free with me. Then the servants of Saul say, "There is such a woman in Endor." But Saul doesn't want to go there that people can see who he is. So he disguised himself, putting on other clothes, and at night he and 2 men go to the woman. "Consult the spirit for me," says King Saul, "and bring up for me the one I name." But the woman says to him, "Surely you know what King Saul has done. He has killed all the spiritists in the past. Why have you set up a trap for me?" Saul swears to her by the Lord, "As surely as the Lord lives, you will not be punished for this." Another sin. The Lord doesn't want us to use his name in vain. Then the woman asks, "Whom shall I bring up for you?" "Bring up Samuel," he says. When the woman sees Samuel, she cries out at the top of her voice and says, "Why have you deceived me? You are Saul." The king says to her, "Don't be afraid. What do you see?" The woman says, "I see a ghostly figure coming up out of the earth." "What does he look like?" asks Saul. "An old man wearing a robe is coming up," she says. No, this is not Samuel. No one can bring someone back from heaven to the earth. But you see, the devil has power to scare people. And what does King Saul hear? He hears these words. "Why do you consult me, now that the Lord has departed from you and become your enemy? Because you didn't obey the Lord, you will lose the battle with the Philistines. You and your sons will die." Immediately Saul falls full length on the ground, filled with fear. Then the woman and his servants urge him to eat some food before they leave this place. The next day the fight starts. The Philistines are very strong. They win. They kill the sons of Saul. Also Jonathan, David's best friend. Then they also come very close to King Saul. He says to his armor-bearer, "Please kill me with your sword before they do it." But his armor-bearer is terrified and doesn't do it. So Saul takes his own sword and falls on it. When the armor-bearer sees that Saul is dead, he does the same. What a sad end of the life of a king. We know we can also die. But our life doesn't need to end sad. No, when you love Jesus, you don't need to be afraid for that moment, because then Jesus is there for you, and he will take you to heaven. When David hears about the death of King Saul, it doesn't make him happy. And when he hears about the death of his best friend Jonathan, he is so sad. he sings a lamentation. Afterwards, people come to him and they anoint him to be their new king.